like we talked about that this morning, man. Like the more advanced a program is, the more nuanced it is, the less likely it is to work.
Right.
Like fitness was figured
Simple,
out
yeah.
decades ago, well before I came in the
Right.
game. I am just a humble person that's regurgitating stuff that's been
it.
passed on through lineage, time, and practice
That's
that
it. Right,
many
right.
men better than me figured out a long time ago.
Right.
The more advanced a program looks, like trying to figure out like how to do things and
Right.
weird nuanced movements, I'm so turned off. I'm like, okay, it looks flashy, it looks fun, and it
Simple
might
is
be good
better.
for the gram, but it's not going to work.
Simple's always better. What was it? So we started jiu-jitsu again last week, or this coming week we do. So I've been watching stuff on Instagram, and I've noticed like all the flashy videos, these flips and shit. You go into the comments and people are like, "This is cancer in video format. This is awful. Please don't let this get out to the public."
Yep.
I mean, and then you go to the ones where it's simple, traditional, or takes on traditional movements that are feasible, and everybody's like, "Oh, this is gorgeous."
And what's funny about that is your people that teach basics, teach traditional, and focus on those. Those are the people that are in this in the longer term.
Right.
They
Right,
really,
right.
if you look, like I'm coming up on 20 years now, and I've seen a lot of people come and go out of this industry.
God, you're old.
Yeah, still outlived you.
You can.
But with it, I've always felt some people want the identity of being a coach, of being a strength coach.
Oh, big time.
They want to be
Big
looked
time.
at as, I'm Gary Esparza. I teach people how to do strength training, rather than, hey, I'm Gary. I'm going to help you out.
Yeah.
Some of it's a calling, some of it's a passion. It is what it is.
Like with any profession, man, people will have their own motivators. For me, early on, it was like I want to have the best clientele base. I want to make sure that all of my athletes have longevity. Even now, I've got people that have been with me since I was at Energy. 8
That's a
years.
long time.
That's a long time, dude.
I mean, we get members here, like Eric over here lifting. I think he's been here almost 10 years.
Right, and the only reason I've been able to have them is because they have grown with me. Or
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I have forced that to grow with myself.
Yeah.
Ultimately, my growth pattern took the turn to I want to be identified by the team that I have.
Yes.
That was me. Like
Gary,
I was like,
you can tell that guy's trained by Gary. Or if, like the one thing I always liked about, I've had your members drop in my gym before, right? And I didn't know who they were. They're like, "Oh, I trained down in E-Town." I'm like, "You don't have to do a beginner course. You're good. I know your coach. I know you was taught right. You can jump right in."
Yeah, and then or like my professional team, the coaches with me, being able to know like like a member comes in, I could be gone for 3 weeks whenever I had the gym, and I would have to make up things to worry about. I knew that Mark, I knew that Jen, I knew that Nick, I knew that Cassandra, all of our coaches, they had everything under wraps.
It's fun when you get a team like that.
Oh, and our team's so unique, man. So, I sold the gym. It was effective November 1st. I still coach there. Brett Lopp, he ran that gym before I ran it, before I bought it. Back in 2013, he handled it for the first 6 months, him and a guy named Jeremy Blair. They ran that thing themselves. It required a little change. They brought us on. Brett stayed there even through that time, and he's still coaching now. We've gotten to see him mature as a coach. He is one of the most detailed movement specialists I could hope to have, and he just had a baby. Happy baby day. And
Boy or girl?
Little girl, man.
Nothing like a little
and
girl,
it's his
man.
first
Yeah.
one. It's his first one, Yeah, you know how that is. You only have one. You got a little
I'm
girl.
only
My
having-
first one was a little girl.
We're a one and done family.
Yeah.
My wife knows this.
I was
so.
a 3 and then fixed the plumbing leak, But
My
man,
brother's getting ready to have his 4th, and I was like,
that's so many kids.
I know. I was like, Tony was like, you know how this keep happening, right?
Right,
Like,
so-
is this a mystery or do we need to have a conversation?
Right.
Like, I don't know what to tell you.
But yeah, man, my identity ultimately ended up being I want the gym. I wanted CrossFit Elizabethtown, Box Fitness LLC, whatever it is. I wanted that to be what people knew me as,
Yeah.
not as Gary's the best coach. I wanted them to know that system,
And
that whole complex is the place to be because of the team that I get to be a part of influencing.
And that's honestly how, if somebody asked me about you, that's how I would honestly introduce you is like, hey, this is Gary. He owns CrossFit Elizabethtown.
That's what I'd want, yeah.
But like when you think of identifiers, that is probably what I would identify you as. Nothing. I mean, we did a lot of team competitions as teammates and everything else, and those were fun and all. But I would still identify you. Like it's even hard for me right now to imagine you sold that gym. And like I remember the day you called and told me, I was like,
What?
am I being pranked? Like,
Yeah,
what the
you're
fuck's
lying.
going on?
Oh, man, it happened so fast, too.
It did. It happened really quick.
I took a trip to Yosemite, planning to come back
Yeah.
and pick up life again. It was let's see here. It was the Tuesday. We got there on a Thursday. It was the Tuesday I was there. I was like, I'm selling that motherfucking gym. It's like, I'm going to take back my life. I'm going to start over a little bit because I think things can be simpler. And it was like a 2-week talk with Mark, who's, again, been with me for a decade, man, and being able to sell it and seamlessly hand it off to him. I mean, that in itself was a testament to how badass of a team I get to be a part of.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that we're able to sell it.
And as many times as I've been down to your gym to train, all of your coaches always been extremely respectful, super nice. Only one was an asshole was you.
Right.
Everybody else was a great guy.
Like, I got to make sure that you
like,
push
I love
off
training with Jen, like, except on anything that was cardio because her tank was retarded.
Yeah. She's momming hard now, so she's taking more of like a longevity role. She's not in there killing herself anymore, you know, man. I
talk about it all the time, though, man. My body feels so much better than it did. Like, I'm lifting way heavier volume than I ever have in my life. But my body doesn't hurt like it did with CrossFit, man.
Yeah.
Like, every time you'd want to train together, I'm like, I can't, dude. I'm wrecked for next week or two.
You know, and even during that day with that amount of volume, I was hurting too, but it mattered to me to push through it. I can say right now that the focus, not the programming, because programming's so insignificant to, you know, what the topic here of staying healthy and movement. It's solely about the maturity of the coaching, being able to be in a group of people and, you know, having an athlete of your caliber in there, man, my shoulder's bugging me. We got bench press today, bitch. Let's figure out something else for you to do. And being able to have your hard-headed ass be like, no, I can work. Be like, no.
Yeah, I have to tell
people. We have
people.
plenty of time for you to do bench press.
It was like, just like today, like when me and you talked about doing some lift before we did the podcast, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to do some lifts. Like, great, I'd like a second pair of eyes to see some of my lifts. And you come in, and he's like, are these your numbers there? It's like, yeah, I tweaked my back. And you're like, oh, good. Keep the numbers there. Cause
that works well for me.
Yeah, it's like, we're not lifting what you do today. In fact, there's guys that will come in here. It's not that I don't mind using their weights. On some days I'm going lighter. Yeah. It's I won't lift with them. Because me and you, if you think about it, like, everything was back to back today. Like, it went quick.
We mowed through that program.
So there's some guys that want to talk.
Right around an hour.
Yeah, they're talking like we are on this podcast while I'm trying to work out. I'm like, dude, change the fucking weights. Let's go. I'm getting cold. Right. I'm old, okay? The longer I sit here, the more brittle I'm become. Yeah. Like, I'm not even going to be able to lift if we don't get this going right now.